بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Let's talk about an important concept called al-mutawatir. This term is very important for us to appreciate the qira'at, especially the qira'at that are called the 10 canonical qira'at or al-Qira'aat al-Ashr, because they are classified as mutawatir. The term mutawatir is a term that we find in the science of hadith, ilm al-hadith. And it is a very important term that is also used, as I mentioned, in understanding qira'at. So we're going to take a look at this term, al-mutawatir, in this lesson, inshallah. Then there are other terms from ilm al-hadith, from the science of hadith, that we will be also studying. And then we will return back to the topic of qira'at and use those terms, inshallah. So what is this thing called mutawatir? Very, very, very important concept in Islamic academic sciences. Imagine this to help you understand, to help you make sense of this concept of mutawatir. Imagine this: you are sitting in your home and someone comes over, knocks at your door, and tells you that a building far away is on fire. Now, you cannot see the building, you are unable to witness it, you have no way to confirm or deny this news, this report, this hadith information that has just reached you. You have no way to verify it yourself. You can neither confirm it or deny it. There's no evidence that you have to prove it or disprove it. You can't say he's lying. You can't say he's telling the truth. Then a second person knocks at your door and tells you the exact same news. The two people do not know each other. Then a third, then a fourth, and a fifth one comes. At this point, you have five people telling you the same exact thing. What do you do at this point? You know that they are not all conspiring to tell you a lie, and you know that they're not mistaken. It cannot be a mistake. Five people who don't know each other are telling you the same thing has happened, the same event has taken place. Do you believe this report or do you reject it? If you ask me, I personally would believe it. Rejecting it would be weird and strange. There's no reason for me to reject it because the key here is that they're not lying, they're not conspiring, and they're not mistaken. So, in that case, any news or information that reaches me in this manner is called mutawatir. Denying it is unacceptable. I can assume it to be absolutely true. This story that I just made up, hypothetical story, a fictional story, the point of this story is to help you see what is mutawatir. Mutawatir, now our great ulama have defined it very carefully. They have defined it as follows: that it has to have a mutawatir information or news or report or hadith. A mutawatir hadith, because what's a hadith? A hadith is a report, an information, news. It's transmitted by a large number of people. Five is a large number. For some people, seven would be a large number. The ulama disagreed as to what exactly is a large number. The minimum that I've seen is five. Some say 10, 12, 30, 40, 70, whatever. The point is, it has to be such a large number that it is impossible for it to be a mistake or fabrication. lie. It cannot be a lie. And it is considered to be the most trusted and reliable information. Now, one important thing to note is that the Mutawatir Hadith is something that is not, uh, it's the knowledge contained in Mutawatir Hadith is not something that you can scientifically or rationally acquire. Remember, we studied al-hukm al-adi and al-hukm al-aqli, rational truth and empirical truth, which is also scientific truth. Remember, we studied that earlier on in this course. And there's a very good reason we studied that earlier on, because it's important for us to understand how we learn things, how we acquire knowledge. If you learn something scientifically or empirically, that is not mutawatir, because scientific knowledge is acquired through the five senses, through experimentation and observation, and through the scientific method, which is great. If you learn something through rational reasoning, logical reasoning, like 1 + 1 = 2, that is not mutawatir. That knowledge did not come to you by transmission, by trusting other people. So mutawatir is not an empirical or a rational truth. It's something that you have to hear from other people, something that you cannot witness yourself. It's not based on empirical. It's not based on an empirical event or rational reasoning. It's about an event that is witnessed by ears or eyes. It's an eyewitness testimonial, or someone heard it. Let's say a blind man heard something. He can or she can narrate that. So it's not something you learn through rational reasoning or empirical reasoning. It's not a rational truth. It's not an empirical truth. It's an eyewitness it, event. It's a testimonial. Someone must have seen it with their eyes or heard it with their ears. Eyes and ears, keywords. Now, how many are there, right? The question is, how many hadith mutawatir are there? Well, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, it's not a large number. There are about 30,000 hadith reports in total in the vast hadith literature, such as Muwatta of Imam Malik, Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, At-Tirmidhi, An-Nasa'i, Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, and there are so many others, right? There are 30,000, according to one estimate. But unfortunately, only about 300, according to one estimate, are mutawatir. That's only 1%. So the vast majority of hadith that we have in the hadith data bank or database, if you will, are not mutawatir. So mutawatir are rare, but they are the strongest. And they're about only 1%. Now, some scholars say the actual number is higher than 300. Some scholars say it's lower, much lower than 300. I'm just going to go with 300 as one of the numbers that I've heard from our great ulama. How do we respond to hadith mutawatir? This is how our response should be. We accept it as absolutely true. We do not reject it. Denying it is unacceptable. It's insanity to deny a hadith mutawatir. It leads to yaqeen, certainty. There's no doubt about its authenticity and reliability. And in case of religious matters, it is considered kufr, blasphemy, or juhud, to deny it or reject it. It's considered kufr. So it's very dangerous to reject a hadith mutawatir. The Quran itself has reached us as mutawatir. The Quran itself is mutawatir. There are 10 qira'at of the Quran that are considered mutawatirah, meaning that these are undeniably authentic, validated, and true. And these 10 are called the 10 canonical qira'at, or in Arabic, al-qira'atul ashru. They have been transmitted by such a huge number of trusted, reliable, and authorized transmitters that it is impossible for there to be a mistake. You cannot deny their authenticity. Denying is insanity, and in fact, it's kufr. And what we will do, inshallah, in one of the upcoming lessons, after we are done talking about these important hadith terms, we will look at what are those 10 qira'at, and then what are the qira'at after the 10, and why the qira'at after the 10 are not canonical. One of the reasons why they're not canonical is because they are not mutawatir. So you can recite, you can do your prayers, your daily salawat in any one of these 10 canonical al-qira'at al-ashru. So that was a quick introduction to the term al-mutawatir. If you study this term in hadith science, especially advanced hadith science books, you will find pages and pages of discussion. There's so much more to say about the topic of mutawatir. This is just an introduction, and it's enough for us to, inshallah, appreciate al-qira'at al-mutawatira. There are some footnotes here and references, and inshallah, in the next lesson, we will look at a hadith that is not mutawatir, but is still valuable and very important. And as you can see, 90 plus percent, 99% of the hadith out there are not mutawatira, and we need them. Those are called al-ahad. Inshallah, we'll look at those as well. والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.